In this video, I'm going to cover some of the XRP price action, what to expect in the future, because we're going to be talking about a low price of Bitcoin potentially coming soon, what the price of XRP could be, and some of the very bullish news, which is good news in the finance world, about XRP, who is actually joining the United States Congress that used to be an advisor to Ripple Labs. But I'm going to talk about what impact that may have on the use of XRP. Also, Jed McCaleb's wallet is officially empty, which is why I want to talk about something else as soon as this video intro ends. And finally, there is a crypto exchange out there, and the owner, Arthur Hayes, has some big time predictions for Bitcoin, because it's not just talking about Bitcoin going to $10,000, it's talking about what Bitcoin's reaction is going to be when the United States Fed prints trillions and trillions of dollars. Yes, he is now forecasting that the United States Fed is going to do it. I'm going to tell you why he's going to be doing it, because it has to do with the Japanese yen, the euro, and the global financial situation. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other crypto news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. If you do three things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end. And of course, check out my Patreon, link in the description below. A big thank you to all my new Patreons who have since subscribed. New content is coming out later this week. Keep an eye out. All right, guys, if you did all those things, I really appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Okay, so before I jump into it too much, I did want to have an apology, because in one of my videos yesterday, I talked about Jed McCaleb's XRP wallet and the fact that he wasn't going to be emptying it. He was going to be keeping his remaining 5 million XRP. Now, in the grand scheme of things, 5 million XRP is very tiny compared to the billions that he had previously. But nonetheless, I quoted a news source that it turns out that news source, and several other news sources, by the way, picked up a satirical article from XRP Productions, which on Twitter is a satire account, which I subscribe to because it's actually really funny. But nonetheless, I didn't pick up on that. I talked about how Jed McCaleb said he wasn't going to be giving up his XRP just in case it goes off and he gets wealthy from it, even more wealthy. Now, I didn't necessarily put a lot of merit into it because he's already ridiculously wealthy, but nonetheless, I did want to apologize for that, because that was considered satirical. Okay, but I do have some actual news regarding Jed McCaleb's wallet, and that is, it is officially empty, and this was backed up by several news sources. His taco stand digital wallet is completely empty of XRP, other than some of the reserve XRP in there that everybody has to have. So nonetheless, he is empty. You can pretty much cross off that storyline as a reason for the XRP price action not mooning, which of course many in the XRP community have been talking about for years since Jed McCaleb left. What's he doing with all these billions of XRP? So nonetheless, that's off the table. Okay, so before I get into the rest of the XRP discussion and the price action, I want to talk about Bitcoin and the global markets, because Arthur Hayes, who he's one of the more, I'll call him, thoughtful owners of a crypto exchange, BitMEX, he had something to say regarding the United States Fed and it printing trillions of dollars. He is now saying that he believes at some point in the near future, didn't necessarily predict when, the US Fed will have to basically reverse course and print trillions of dollars. Here's why. This is one of the more interesting takes that I've seen. I haven't seen a take like this. I haven't seen a take like this before. It's a little more intriguing. It's a little more detailed than some of the others. So basically what he's saying is keep an eye on the Japanese yen, the JPY, and the euro, which is the European Union's dollar equivalent. He says if the US dollar continues to strengthen, he anticipates the US Fed is going to print trillions of dollars in order to weaken the dollar. Now, why would they actually do that? Well, here's why. He said the Japanese yen and the European Union are involved in what they call yield curve control. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically, it's the act of expanding the money supply, essentially printing money, and using it to control bond rates, government bond rates, and the interest that they're paying to the bond investors. Now, what that does is actually weaken the fiat currency that's backing it. All right, so here's where it all comes together. He said, this time it's a little bit different, because countries like that have been doing this kind of thing, especially the Chinese have been doing it for a long time. He said specifically Japan and Europe, inflation has hit them extremely hard. Most of its citizens are having a hard time with daily things like gas, food, some of the basic necessities. By the way, so is 60% of the United States at this point. He said due to inflation post-COVID and because of the cancellation of Russian commodities exports, he said basically they're facing some big downturns. And so here's his prediction. He said if the United States is determined to actually defeat Russia with financial sanctions, the US has to find a way to weaken the dollar against the Japanese yen and the euro. So he said at the direction of the Fed, the US could print trillions of dollars, and what they would do with a lot of that is go ahead and buy Japanese yen and euro dollars and basically stash them in something called an exchange stabilization fund. And now he said what that's going to do is basically cause extreme liquidity in the markets, and of course his prediction for that is there is going to be a significant amount of it finding crypto, specifically Bitcoin. So all that to say is that if the United States Fed goes ahead and prints all these US dollars in order to basically have fiat warfare with the Japanese yen and the euro dollar in order to make the dollar less appealing, well, if printing trillions of dollars and using a lot of it to buy Japanese yen and euro dollars and basically stashing it away, essentially printing money to support the US allies and hurting somebody like, say, Russia, well, that liquidity is going to find somewhere to go, and he's anticipating that it's going to go into Bitcoin. Now, this is an extremely out of left field take that I have seen. However, it is not completely unheard of. Fiat warfare and bond warfare has actually been going on for a long time. If this is the case, and the United States does print trillions of dollars, you have to continue to look out for what happened in the first place. Things like inflation, things just getting more expensive, the daily life necessities that over in Japan and the European Union, well, they're having trouble affording, just like 60% of the United States market. So take his prediction a little bit with a grain of salt, but it's a really interesting take because looking at the macroeconomic scale of things, he basically said, listen, just keep an eye on the Japanese yen. If the dollar goes above 150 and versus the EU, if it goes below 0.9, he said, look out. Now, of course, that's a very bullish prediction for Bitcoin, and what I'm going to talk about right now is XRP in going the opposite direction. Some of the $10,000 predictions and forecasts that I've been talking about in this channel. Well, I put a poll up on my channel to figure out what you guys think Bitcoin is going to do next. Is it going to hit $15,000 first, or is it going to hit $30,000 first? As of right now, about 60% plus of those responding think it's going to hit 15 before it hits 30. So some very bearish sentiment. So what about XRP? I mean, we have all this good news regarding XRP. We have now former Ripple Labs advisor Michael Barr being named as a Fed Vice Chair of Financial Oversight. Extremely bullish for XRP. We have all this good news. The SEC looks like it's on its way out of the case versus the SEC and Ripple, at least on its face. Of course, there's a lot of details we have to go through, but nonetheless, I mean, XRP, the price action is just not really going anywhere. It's still mimicking Bitcoin. Well, I'm sorry to say that's what it's going to do for a while, at least until this case of Ripple versus the SEC is officially over and officially announced. So where's it going if Bitcoin's at $10,000? Well, some of the technical analysis and indicators point to between 10 and 20 cents. Well, that's actually a big gap for a price point. Right now, which means it could either drop 30% or it could drop 66%. That's a big gap. But nonetheless, this is why investors always say, always have a small bag of money available to buy certain opportunities. We already know there's going to be big institutions and investors looking to buy Bitcoin if it drops, wicks down to that $10,000 or less level. XRP, probably the same story. Now, if you've been following this channel, I kind of outlined how over the past couple of weeks, XRP has been mirroring Bitcoin, but it hasn't been falling as much as Bitcoin, and it's been rising slightly higher than Bitcoin from a percentage standpoint. So take that for what it's will. Some of the technical analysis, 10 to 20 cents. You could put some buy orders in at 10 cents. Guess what? It wouldn't take much to make some very good money once XRP gets its regulatory clarity. A lot of people think $8, $10, $12 is going to happen this year, or at least when this case is over. But nonetheless, let me know in the comment section if you are one of those ones that are placing your bets on XRP. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, for joining my Patreon account. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers there. Look out for new content coming later this week. All right, guys, as always, I'll see you on the next video.